The psychology of narcissism. Have you ever encountered someone who seems charming, confident, and self-assured, only to later discover that this is for admiration? Narcissism is a fascinating yet misunderstood aspect of human psychology. While often associated with selfishness and arrogance, it's much more complex, a defense mechanism born from vulnerability. But how does it develop? And how does it manifest in daily life? And how can you identify and navigate relationships with narcissistic individuals? Now, in this exploration, we'll uncover layers of narcissism, from its psychological roots to its modern day implications, revealing a personality trait that can shape lives in unexpected ways. Now remember, this is education mixed with entertainment. So with that being said, let's analyze this train of thought accordingly. Understanding narcissism. Narcissism originates from the Greek myth of Narcissus, a young man who fell in love with his reflection. In psychology, it refers to a personality trait characterized by self-centeredness, a grandiose sense of self-importance, and a constant need for validation. It exists on a spectrum from healthy self-esteem to narcissistic personality disorder, which is a diagnosable condition. Narcissism often stems from early childhood experiences. Therefore, a child raised with excessive praise or harsh criticism may develop narcissistic tendencies to cope with insecurity. The core of narcissism lies in a fragile self-esteem, which is masked by overconfidence. Psychologists divide narcissism into two types: grandiose narcissism, marked by extroversion and dominance, and a vulnerable narcissism involving hypersensitivity and defensiveness. In moderation, narcissism can be beneficial, fostering ambition and resilience. However, in excess, it can damage relationships and hinder personal growth. Understanding these nuances helps us empathize with, rather than vilify, those exhibiting narcissistic behaviors. So to give a quick example, Jessica, a successful entrepreneur, she thrives on public recognition and praises her accomplishments. However, she often acts with hostility when criticized and struggles with feelings of inadequacy when she's not the center of attention. So now let's talk about manifestations of narcissism in daily life. Narcissistic traits can manifest in many ways, often making them difficult to recognize. Outwardly, grandiose narcissists may appear charismatic, confident, and even aspiring. They excel in roles that reward self-promotion, such as leadership or entertainment. However, their need for admiration can make them exploitative, dismissive of others' feelings, and intolerant to criticism. Vulnerable narcissists, on the other hand, may seem shy or anxious. They often struggle with deep feelings of inadequacy and use their self-absorption to mask insecurity. Their sensitivity to perceived slights can lead to withdrawal or passive-aggressive behavior. In relationships, narcissistic individuals often create an imbalanced dynamic. They may demand constant validation, become envious of others' successes, or devalue those who challenge their self-image. This cycle can be exhausting for partners, friends, and co-workers. Modern culture amplifies narcissistic tendencies. Social media, for instance, provides an ideal platform for self-promotion and validation. While not inherently bad, excessive use can reinforce narcissistic behaviors, creating a cycle of comparison and insecurity. Recognizing these manifestations helps us distinguish between healthy confidence and pathological narcissism, enabling more mindful interactions and self-awareness. So how do we cope with narcissism? Navigating relationships with narcissistic individuals requires patience and self-awareness. First, it's absolutely essential to set boundaries. Narcissists often push limits, seeking constant attention and validation. Establishing firm, clear boundaries prevents emotional exhaustion and fosters mutual respect. Communication is key. And while confronting a narcissist, avoid directly attacking their fragile ego. Instead, use I statements to express your feelings without assigning blame. For example, say, "I feel unheard," when the conversation focuses on only you rather than "you never listen." Therapy can also be transformative, both for those with narcissistic traits and their loved ones. Cognitive behavioral therapy can help narcissistic individuals explore their insecurities and develop healthier coping mechanisms. Family therapy, meanwhile, can improve dynamics by fostering empathy and understanding. If a relationship becomes toxic, prioritize your well-being. Sometimes minimizing contact or ending the relationship is necessary for emotional health. On a societal level, combat narcissism involves promoting values like empathy, humility, and collective well-being. Encouraging open conversations about mental health reduces stigma, paving the way for growth and change. By understanding and addressing narcissism compassionately, we can foster healthier relationships and a more empathetic society. Now, it's important to realize that narcissism is more than just a personality flaw. It's a psychological adaptation shaped by life experiences, cultural influences, and societal norms. Understanding its roots reveal that behind the facade of confidence often lies vulnerability and pain. This perspective allows us to approach narcissistic individuals with compassion, recognizing their behaviors as coping mechanisms rather than inherent flaws. However, it's equally vital to prioritize emotional health. Interacting with narcissistic individuals requires firm boundaries, clear communication, and sometimes the courage to step away. On a larger scale, we must examine how societal values contribute to narcissism, shifting our focus from individualism to community, empathy, and connection. Ultimately, the goal isn't to cure narcissism, but to foster self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and balance. By encouraging healthy expressions of confidence and addressing the insecurities beneath narcissistic tendencies, we create an environment where people feel valued for who they are, not just how they appear. Now, because I want you to think as opposed to telling you what to think, here are 3 questions to aid understanding. Question number 1. How can recognizing the difference between grandiose and vulnerable narcissism help improve interpersonal relationships? Question 2. In what ways do cultural and societal norms contribute to narcissistic behaviors? And finally, question 3. What strategies can you use to set boundaries with narcissistic individuals while maintaining your well-being? So that's the end of today's journey. If you want to support the channel, like, subscribe, and watch the content. And with that being said, I sincerely hope this video has provided value.